Hi, I'm Rick Stivers of YoungMartin'sReels, and today we're going to be working on this Bronson Lashless Model 1700A, and it's a pretty old reel. We're going to take it apart, lubricate it, and put it back together. It's just recently had that done, but I'm doing this so that those of you who would like to know how to take one of these apart can do so. All right. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and remove the handle, although that's not necessary to take this reel apart. But we're going to go ahead and take it apart. Take the handle off. There we go. And then you just got 3 screws on the side plate here that we take off. With those screws out, you can now remove the side plate. All right. There you go. You'll notice there's pretty much nothing in the side plate except for this gear. Okay, that allows us to get the side plate off. And if you need to take the spool out, and if you're going to completely redo this and lubricate the entire thing, you're going to have to take the spool out. The next part that you're going to have to do is remove this screw. Well, when you remove this screw, this side plate comes off, but when it does, all of this is going to come off. All of your level wind assembly is going to come out with it. Okay? You could take these 2 screws out and possibly get it to go through from the inside and stay in place, but it's just going to fall out. So you might as well go ahead and let it go. So if you want to take it out, you're going to have to remove this screw. With that screw out, this whole side panel is going to come off. And there comes your level wind with it. Okay, that comes out. Your shield comes out with it. And out comes your spool. Now that you've got it to this point, you can examine all the parts and see what kind of condition they're in and clean them up. We'll start off with your clicker right here on the side plate. We will spray a little penetrating oil on it. Scrub the old oil and grease off. And wipe it clean. Make sure to clean out the hole where your level wind goes. And then I like to wipe the whole thing down with a towel or paper towel. Alright, now this is your clicker on this side right here. And the spool turns, it has a clicker cog right here. We're going to go ahead and clean that up. Once you've got that done, look for it, examine it, make sure there's no broken teeth. And then I like to add just a little bit of oil, just a little bit of grease. Make sure I use a reputable brand reel grease. Don't really care what brand, as long as it's made for reels. And when that clicks in, it slides into the end, like so. And as it turns, it should click. Just like that. Okay, I'm going to put a drop of oil right in the end bearing or bushing. That part's clean and ready to go. I'm going to turn the spool around to the other side and clean that side. Okay, now notice that the little gear on the end has come off. Note that it has a cutout in the end. Well, that cutout mates up to the spool right here. Like so. Alright, that's ready to go. Inspect the teeth on this gear, make sure none of them are damaged. And then add a small amount of grease. Next, we're going to clean the main gear. In the event that these two gears come off of your shaft, just note there's a square key. It doesn't matter which way these go. They can go either way, as long as you put the small one on first and the main gear, the large one, on second. Alright, so you've got your main gear, and this small gear cog here mates up to this small gear here, which is going to drive your level wind. Your main gear up here is going to operate on your spool. Now, if you were to count these, you'd find that there's 46 gears, teeth on the main gear. There's 12 over here. That gives you a 3.8 gear ratio. So, in case somebody's interested in that, now they know. Move on. We're going to clean this side plate, which really isn't going to take anything more than just a wipe out. And then it wouldn't hurt to run a clean Q-tip up through the hole. Okay. Make sure not to leave any old Q-tip in there. Now we're back to here. We're going to wipe this off. Wipe the shaft. Make sure it's clean, no corrosion. Now at this point, it's a good idea to go ahead and inspect and clean your level wind. I just cleaned this one last week, so I'm not going to sit here and try to scrub it out again. The only thing that's in it is a little bit of oil. One thing you do want to do normally is you'll take this screw out and you're going to oil the pawl inside here. Let's go ahead and take that apart so you know. Take the screw out. With the screw out, hopefully the pawl will drop out. If it doesn't drop out, well, that's okay. Go ahead and put a drop of oil on it. Lubricate it good. Make sure that it spins, and it does. Put the screw back in. This is where this begins to get a little bit on the complicated side. First thing we're going to do, well, let's go ahead and put a drop of oil on our switch for the clicker. One drop of oil on there. Click it back and forth a few times, make sure it's operational. Go ahead and wipe off the excess oil so you don't have too much floating around in there. Okay, now we're going to set the spool back down inside. It rides on the clicker. Good. This is where it gets a little bit on the tricky side. So we're going to set this side plate complete with the level wind back into here. Watch your level wind arm. Make sure it comes up. These will all fit inside. All these posts. Alright, now as it starts to slide down, everything has to fit. There we go. It's all going down. Make sure that your level wind, before it goes in, is inside the bar at the top. Once it's inside the bar, then and only then will you want to go ahead and slide it on in. Now, you're almost to the point to put the screw in, but you've got to put this shield back on. Okay? And the shield, if you look right here, you've got 2 holes here and 2 holes over here. That shield's going to go in those holes. And the long end of it is going to ride on the back side. So bring this around. Let's go ahead and take that up to the end. Bring this in. Loosen it up just a little bit so that you've got clearance to get it in. Notice that arm fell out again. Make sure it stays in. Up there. Has to stay inside that bar. It's just a delicate balancing act, getting everything in and making sure that everything fits in place without forcing anything. Nothing should be forced. There we go. The level wind was keeping it from going in. Okay, now you've got these little ears. Each one of these plates has got little tabs, one on the front, one on the back, and they have got to go in the holes. Like so. Once they're all in, everything's locked in place. Now and only now can you put this screw back in. Alright, now it's all in there. Go ahead and operate your level wind, make sure it's going to function. And it does. Now you're ready for a little bit of grease on your level wind gear. A little bit of grease on your level wind drive gear. A little bit on each of the teeth. Notice I use a paintbrush to put it on. I'm not gobbing it on. And we don't want to pack the side of it full of grease like a lot of people try to do, because all that does is collect up dirt, grime. And make sure to put a little bit on the post that the gear rides on. Once that's in, make sure that slides all the way down and the gear teeth are meshed all the way around. Add a little bit more grease to the post here. A drop of oil in the end bushing. And we're ready to slide this back on. Now we're going to add just a little bit of oil onto each end of the handle. I tend to spin it around like this. Don't get too carried away because you'll sling the oil off of the other end of it. But that gives you a good work in, getting it all in there. All right, we're going to slide the handle down and we're going to install the nut. Tighten it down. Okay. Now we're going to get the fishing line to come back up through the level wind. There we go. Turn off the clicker. We are now in as close as this reel will ever see to free spool, because it has no brushes. Sorry, has no drag, and the spool is always going to be connected to the handle no matter what. Put the clicker back on and let's wind it in. And there we have, let's go ahead and loosen this up just a little bit. There we have the Bronson Lashless Model 1700 servicing. Thank you.